My dad was born in 1917, and he grew up in a different time era during the Depression. He was a hard worker. He worked as a construction worker pretty much 5 days a week.
But Paul Sr.'s gruff exterior was perfectly balanced by his loving wife.
My mother she was the sweetest woman you'll ever meet in your life.
Their children, Marianne and Paul Jr., were still young when they moved into the house on Alabama Avenue.
It was pretty much a stereotypical suburban neighborhood.
But there was always something missing for Paul Sr.
He always seemed to be miserable, hateful at the world. I can't ever recall my dad laughing or smiling, ever.
And Paul Sr. did have his vices.
My dad was a heavy smoker, and he was an alcoholic. He would get up in the morning, go to work, and from the time he came back, he would drink all night until he was ready to go to bed.
Booze and misery were a bad combination for the rest of the family.
When Paul Sr. had a couple of drinks, he was very aggressive, very obnoxious, and often violent with the members of his family, especially his wife, who was battered and bruised a lot of the time.
I couldn't respect my dad. Yeah, he was my dad, but how do you respect someone that beats on your mother on a daily basis?
And when Paul Jr. was 10 years old, he felt the full wrath of his father's rage.
He charged at me, swung at me several times. He threatened me with the gun. He chased me down the alley holding a gun, talking about he was going to shoot me. I was an embarrassment to him. He didn't want me. I was a mistake. You know, in his own words, I was a mistake, and he wished I'd never been born.